name is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, November 20, 2023, and this is episode 117. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I totally forgot my intro. Oh yeah, I make my episodes in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. And for now, I'm ready to share some handwerk perikelen, the Dutch word for crafty adventures, with you. But I'm a bit distracted by the light. I already started filming my episode and then it started raining quite hard and the light disappeared. It was all grey and dark, and then I remembered I ordered a ring. No, not a ring light. I ordered a light I can put above my phone, and I couldn't find it. And now I put it on, but I have no time to check if the settings are okay. So maybe it's a horrible light. I'm sorry. I think it is okay, but I'm a bit distracted because the light is shining in my eyes. And the last time I used it, I forgot to look at the camera. I looked at the light. So I'm trying to do it good, but my mind is working and I'm not good at doing things at the same time. So give me a few minutes and it will be okay. Okay. I will start with my with what I'm wearing before I dive into my special week, because I said in the intro that I would share my crafty adventures, but I had quite less crafty adventures because we had a special week. We spent a week in Prague, and I will tell you all about it in a minute. But let me start with what I'm wearing, because I think you want to know. I always want to know what someone's wearing when I'm watching a podcast. This is an old sweater. No, not really old. I think I made it in the beginning of 2022. It is my own variation on the Maja cardigan. The Maja cardigan is a pattern by, and I forgot the name, Magnusson, something with Magnusson. I will put a picture in here. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. The designer designed it for Järbo, I guess. And I made a sweater of it. I didn't want it to be a cardigan because I really want to play with a low neckline. The cardigan is just a sticked one with a round yoke, and as a lot of cardigans and also sweaters, the round yoke is quite high, and I really prefer a low neckline. I think it looks better on me, but the look is not the most important. It's more the feeling. I don't feel comfortable with a high neckline. I need some air here, some space. I don't know what it is, but every time I try to wear, because I think they look beautiful and I love the designs with round yokes, but every time I make one of my own, I'm annoyed by the fabric here. I prefer this. So I tried to make my own sweater, and I used the colorwork chart at the bottom of the body from the Maja cardigan, and I also think I used the stitch amount because I knitted it in lead loopy, and the pattern is also designed for lead loopy. I'm quite sure. I'm not 100% sure, but quite sure. And I knitted it bottom up, and then here I knitted this part and the back, and a dropped shoulder construction. I think dropped shoulders are really fitting my body good. I don't know. You have raglan, round yokes, dropped shoulders, saddle shoulders. I never made something like that, but every time I wear a drop shoulder design, I feel very good in it. So maybe that is my thing. I don't know. Let me see. For me, it was really good this sweater to get some confidence to create my own thing, because I really had to play and I really had to fix some mistakes. I did add some short rows to create a shoulder shape, but I still had way too much fabric here, so they were quite straight, the shoulders, and it wasn't looking good, and then I turned it inside out, and with my sewing machine I zigzagged 600 times to be sure it wouldn't unravel, because when you stick, you cut vertical. Is that also the word in English? But what I did now, vertical is not, it was exciting the first time, but then I realized, okay, stitches don't drop vertical. Yeah, they do drop vertical, so they do not unravel horizontal. That doesn't sound good. Yeah, you know what I mean. This way, not that way. So, but these stitches, they were, I would cut horizontal, I would cut this way. So I zigzagged a million times, so it would be secured as good as possible. And then I cut away the fabric, which I didn't need. And it worked out pretty good. So it's still, I did wear this sweater quite a lot, and it's still fitting, and the fit is perfect. And also there's nothing unraveling, and it's really working good. So for me, it was very good to get more confident to create the things exactly the way you want it to be. What's fitting on your body, and play with the designs. And unfortunately, I don't give myself enough time to play. I am quite overwhelmed at the moment, and I think a lot of knitters and crocheters recognize this feeling. I'm quite overwhelmed by all the possibilities you can make. There are so many beautiful designs, and every design I want to knit in different yarns, in different colors, maybe even different sizes. And I also want to play. I want to put my own sauce over it. You say it like that, we say it in Dutch. Je eigen sausje eroverheen. Make my own creation of it. And maybe even knit without a pattern. And I have a bit of a crafting rushed feeling. I always have more inspiration than time, and I do have a lot of knitting time, to be honest, but I always did have more inspiration than time. But the last weeks, it's not feeling good anymore. It's feeling too heavy, and it sounds quite dramatic. That's also not what I mean, but it's really something to pay attention to. I try to not to consume too much on internet. I do check Ravelry every now and then, but I try to not spend too much time on Instagram, only share on Instagram and not consume on Instagram. But it's quite hard because it's so much fun. And also the YouTube episodes. I love watching YouTube episodes, but it's also giving me too much inspiration every time. So I try to reduce it a little bit. There is so much of everything, so much knitting patterns, so much nice yarn, so much nice people who are sharing their inspiration, and it's only getting more and more and more, and I am doing it also. So yeah, that's really a thing these days. So it's also really fitting the season to turn inside, to not see everything, but only go inside, have your own small world, and be happy there. So it's the perfect time of the year to turn inside, and maybe that is what I need. So I really want to put in my mind that it really gives a lot of satisfaction, I guess. I really love playing with knitting designs. It's really hard jumping to me. So I want to remember that for next year. Give myself more hard jumping moments by playing with the designs. So okay, but this sweater is really a nice reminder of that, because I'm feeling really happy in it. Every time I knit myself something, a warm woolly layer, it's a layer of self-love, I guess. When you make yourself something beautiful with good materials, it's so special. It's so much self-love. But when you make yourself something with also when you create with also your own modifications, it's more of yourself that you put in the knitting or in the crochet. So it's even more self-love. So every time I wear this sweater, it's really one of my favorites. Maybe it is the favorite. I love the fitting, I love the colors, and I also love the confidence. I feel it when the confidence is in my sweater. You can make it the way you want it to be. You can have it the way you want it to be. So every time I'm going to an exciting event or something, I put on this sweater and I feel confident. I'm Sarah and I can make it. I can do it the way I want it to be. I want it to have whatever. It's only knitted in let lopi, so I only can feel the confidence in winter. Oh, now I looked into the lamp. I'm sorry, I have to focus on the camera. I can only feel confident in the winter, so maybe I have to make a summer version filled with knitting confidence. Okay, but that is what I'm wearing. I am quite sure in one of my first episodes, I started with English episodes in episode 20. Maybe the first one, or one of the first, I talk a lot in horrible English. I'm sorry. The sweater didn't help with my confidence by then with speaking English. But in horrible English, I tell you all about this sweater and how I made it, I guess, but I'm not quite sure. You can also find it on my Ravelry page. I don't think I have time for all the notes today because I'm quite late and I'm exhausted. Because let's jump into our week in Prague. I said Prague all week and everyone was laughing at me, but I don't know. Prague sounds more English. Prague. Yeah, I like the sound of Prague more, but it doesn't feel natural to me. But we spent a week in Prague. Our son had a 18-year-old son. He had a rugby tournament. He's a rugby player. He had a rugby tournament in Prague, and we decided to join him to support him and his team. We stayed in a lovely apartment. It was really good. When we booked it, the pictures were looking quite pretty and we thought, they always share nice pictures. We can only be disappointed because it's looking so beautiful. But it was really beautiful when we stayed over, when we arrived. It was very big and nice and we had a wonderful time there. There was a lot of family and friends, other parents of rugby players, and it was one big family and it was one big social event all week. So I loved it. Prague is really pretty. We went to Prague by car. It is quite a drive. We live in the Netherlands and the distance between everything in the Netherlands are quite low. Do you say quite low? I don't know. Nothing is really far away. I think when you drive 3 hours, you can within 3 hours you can come everywhere in the Netherlands, I guess. And I think that's quite a drive. But I realize when you are living in a bigger country that you have to travel much further to your family or friends maybe. But we drove to Prague by car. And it was a 10-hour drive, 8-hour drive, I don't know, 800 kilometers, I guess. And I thought it was pretty far, but I didn't have to drive because my husband did. And he's a good driver and he can drive very long. We did stop every now and then, of course. And every time I asked, shall I drive right now? And he said, no, it's okay. And I was a really happy person because that was extra knitting time for me. So I was knitting and crocheting all the time. When I'm knitting, I have to look at my work. So I also put some crochet work next to me on my, do you say bin? On my bin? Because when I crochet, I can watch around me. And when we arrived in Czech, I really wanted to look around me, because even next to the highway, it was nice and different than home. And we were really surprised by all the lovely fall colors. Going to Prague in autumn, I can really recommend that, because all the trees, they still had their leaves, but in the most beautiful shades of brown and orange and a little bit green and red. It was heart jumping. It was really so beautiful. And when we arrived in Prague, I was there. I visited Prague when I was a teenager, but I think my attention did go to other things. My focus was on other things at that time. But Prague is beautiful. It's a beautiful city. So we had a lot of rugby things. We watched a lot of games. It was really fun, and we really shouted and supported. My voice is a little bit rough because I did shout so hard. Do you say shout? I did support so hard. They won their first game, and it was really a big party. And then they lost the other 2 games, so they didn't get the result they hoped for, but it was still very much fun to look, because they were really strong and motivated and working and fighting hard. So they didn't have to feel ashamed. So that was really good. And we had a lot of fun. And in between, we spent all the time with the friends and the family. We did e-check, and we visited the most beautiful things, the tourist things, and we just walked through Prague. The weather was quite good, a little bit rain every now and then, but mainly good. And it's just beautiful right there. One day we went out of town for a walk, for a hike. My husband planned that. Next time we have to check how high we will get, because he loves hiking quite high. But it was quite. No, I didn't want. I didn't want to miss it, because it was very beautiful. But it was also quite a tough hike. But we were really having fun. But there was quite less crafting time. There was hardly any knitting time. I had my knitting and crochet constantly with me in my backpack. I never leave my house without a knitting or crochet work, or actually most of the times both in my backpack. But it was just not. We were so together. It was so intensive, and there was just no time. And also we hardly stayed at the apartment. We were on the go all the time. So and normally I wake up quite early, so I have some quiet time before the rest of my family wakes up. But even during the week, in the beginning of the week but during the week I was so exhausted that I slept longer, and that was more important than knitting or crochet, and there was just no time. And it was okay, because we really were having fun, but I missed it. Knitting and crochet is for me really a recharging activity. I really and it was not a problem that there was no time, because I know when we are back home I have all the time. But my knitting mojo is a little bit low. I never have that before. Also, so yesterday evening I was sitting on the couch, and I did knit a lot in the car when we get home, but I thought, I rather want to read in my book. And that I never have that feeling. I always want to knit or crochet more than anything else. So that was quite new to me. I was a little bit worried. Of course I did read, because I am not so hard that I must knit, but I'm a little bit. I hear, I never lost my knitting mojo. I hear people telling about that, so I don't want to lose it. But maybe it was just because the routines were so different from my normal life, and we will see. So not much knitting, but I did have a finished object. This little hat. I'm not a hat knitter. I don't wear hats myself. Actually, I have a lot of hair and I wear headbands. And in the Netherlands, it's not very cold, so I never need a hat. But I had quite some leftovers from the sweater I knitted for my little niece. So I thought I want to knit the leftovers away because I wouldn't make anything else of it. So I thought, let me make a hat. And I did it. This is the classic ribbed hat by Purl Soho, a free pattern on Ravelry. I really recommend it. It was really fun to make it. I did play a little bit with the size because my yarn was a little bit thicker, and I didn't check the suggested needle size. I just I think I used 3.25 millimeters because I thought that would match the yarn. And then I picked the child size, the second size, I guess, 96 stitches. And I thought, okay, just knit that one, and maybe it's for my little 2-year-old niece, or maybe it will be for one of my own kids, or maybe it will for my husband, or maybe it will be for my dad with a big head. So all possibilities. But quite soon I saw it was too big for my little niece. So I added some extra length, and it isn't even enough, I guess. I really love a big brim. So you call it like this, I guess, a big brim. This one, the folded brim, I'm quite sure. And I should have knit some centimeters extra. 3 centimeters, 4 maybe, but it's okay. I really love the knit one, purl one. I do combination knitting, and that makes knitting rib stitch a very small movement of your hands and very rhythmic, and I really loved it. So it was a perfect on-the-go work, and you work just in a round until the decreases for the crown, and it was so easy and satisfying. So that was really nice. I also really loved knitting the crown and how it looks. So I can imagine I will make more hats. This hat is for my husband right now, and that was really surprising because my husband, he isn't a wool lover. He is very sensitive to wool, and he thinks it's very itchy. I think it's a mental thing. Now, I'm not sure. I know there are a lot of people really sensitive to wool, but I always, I don't know. I'm not quite sure if it's a mental thing or it's a real thing, but he put it on his head with nothing under it, and he didn't complain. So I was quite surprised, and it was really, really lovely to see him with my hand-knitted hat on his head all the time. So I think it will be his one. Okay, so you can see I don't wear hats. I don't like it with my hair. This way you can wear it as a beanie. I miss my hair when I'm wearing a hat. I think you know what I mean when you see me like this. And I do love it with a brim. Also not really on my head, but you can see the brim. It's a little bit too short. I would love it more. Yeah, more. So I will make more hats, but then longer. And it was really a fun project. So it is knitted with long yarns Soho. That was quite fun. I knitted with lang yarns. I think you say it in English like this. Lang yarn Soho, and it was a pattern by... Oh, see, I'm watching into the light. I'm distracted. I'm sorry. I have to focus on the camera. And the pattern is from Purl Soho. So absolutely recommend this, but I think everyone already knows this pattern. I'm a little bit late to the party. Okay. And the other, I have one new cast on I want to show. I casted on this sock when we were in the car, when we went to Prague. We say op de heenweg. When you go to something, you say op de heenweg, and when you go back, you say op de terugweg. Yeah, okay. But when we were in the car, I started this little sock. No, it's not little. It's my size. I don't have big feet, but also it's not little. This is a chocolate brown skein. The color is called chocolate by a Dutch dyer, Atelier Sobra. And the skein was a birthday gift from my children to me last year. And I casted on these socks. A few weeks ago, I knitted my daughter some birthday socks with Novita Kajastus. With this stitch, I'm quite sure you call this the half fisherman's rib. you purl the pearls, and you the knit stitches you slip without knitting, and you do a yarn over, and the next round you knit the yarn over and the slip stitch together. So it really creates a lovely fabric. I really love it. I really love how it looks, but I even more love how how it feels. So it's really nice and fun. And when I was knitting her socks, I decided that I would really would love to have a pair of my own. They are a little bit on the big side. I did use my normal amount of rounds for my feet, but I think maybe this texture of these stitches, it is a little bit wider, but maybe also a little bit longer. But I am quite sure I will leave it this way. I don't feel motivated to rip it back, and it's not so much too big that's annoying, but I can imagine these socks will be more house socks for over your normal socks or over your regular socks. I wear my socks in Birkenstocks. This is not I don't know if I should do this. I'm wearing Birkenstocks today, and when it's cold, I can imagine for some extra nice and cozy feeling, I will wear these socks over it. This is, I divided my skein in 2 yarn cakes of 50 gram, and I will make an extra long leg so it can be slouchy. So, enough about my knitting. The other parts, it's not the time for flies. That's more summertime. It's autumn, go away. The other knitting and crochet I will show later when I make more progress. Here you are again, come. Okay. Then, before we left to Prague, I searched for yarn shops, because I always do when I'm going somewhere. I always search for yarn shops, and I found 2. And there were also some lovely viewers who were living in Prague or were familiar in Prague. Also, let me know the same 2 yarn shops. And one of the yarn shops was on the other side of the city, and it was... I thought it was not really, it was okay to not visit. But the other yarn shop was in the same street as our apartment. Meant to be, also a little bit dangerous. And I really wanted to visit that yarn shop, the Yarn Queen, it is called. And I wanted to visit it on my birthday. My birthday was last Wednesday, and I want to give myself a birthday present to go to the yarn shop. So the day before, I was walking around with one of my girls, and I said, maybe we can check the yarn shop already, so I can do some, how do you say, some first onderzoek. How do you say it? Orientating, an orientating visit. So I can orientate. That sounds funny. No, not funny. That sounds not good. I can orientate. I can check which yarns they have and which colors I like, and then I can go to the apartment and I can check my Ravelry library, and I can choose a project, a pattern, and I know how much I need and all those kind of things. And of course, I didn't leave empty-handed because why should I? So I visited the yarn shop, and there were all lovely people. It was not a big yarn shop, but filled with lovely yarn. And what I always want to do when we are on holiday, or I want to bring one skein of sock yarn with me as a memory. And I have quite some skeins as memories still in my stash, but I didn't have the time to knit something of them yet. Mainly sock yarn actually, but it's always the memory is always in the skein, even if it's just a skein, another pair of socks or whatever. So I decided to buy this Zauber Crazy ball. Alp Zauber Crazy it's called, LEB. I don't know what the LEB is for. It's just wool with nylon. And They didn't have the wonderful brown colored one. I really love, my mom has socks and I tried to steal them from her when we were camping this summer, but it didn't work out. But I really love this one. It's a bit of, it's not brown, not really, but a little bit of gray and pink. And my husband, he asked, why did you bought blue sock yarn? But I don't see really blue in it. I can imagine you think it is blue, but it's not. It's more gray. But I really love the soft warm colors. So that was my first buy. And I also asked the lady of the shop if they have some really check yarn. I saw hand-dyed yarn by the Yarn Queen, and it were lovely skeins, but they were too bright for me. A lot of pink, and yeah, a lot of pink, I guess. They also had Christmas skeins for sock yarn, for Christmas socks with red and white and green, but I wasn't feeling that. So I asked, is there something really check? And then she searched for a box of yarn at the back, and she came with this yarn, and it's she did told me where it was from. From the sheep from a special part of Czech, I guess, from another part of Czech, but I forgot. But there is an internet address at the label, so I will check, but I didn't have the time to do that. And there were DK weight skeins, 4 DK weight and 2 sport weight, and I wasn't sure what to make, and it was my plan to leave them there and search at home for ideas. But then I thought, oh, let me bring those 2 sport weight yarns with me. I can make a shawl or whatever. I just love the idea for check wool. I don't know, it doesn't smell to sheep. I really love it when the yarn is smelling to sheep. It doesn't do that. I don't know. I can imagine it is superwash. I'm not quite sure. But I don't know, I don't have a light shawl, but maybe I will make a triangle shawl in light yarn, just because. I really love it. So that was nice. Then I checked, but they were closed on Wednesday, so I couldn't visit the shop on my birthday, but I did receive a birthday present from the friends we were with, and they also visited the Yarn Queen, so that was really lovely. I didn't know. But they chose a Malabrigo Arroyo skein. This is a DK sport weight merino wool in lovely shades of autumn. So it was really a nice surprise. And I think maybe I'm doubting between a little cowl, or maybe I will make. Can I combine it? I have a pattern for a sport weight cowl. That would be fun. Different, but fun. But I also was thinking about knitting a hat of it. Oh, all the possibilities. I don't know yet. We shall see. Oh, I'm looking into the lamp again. I'm sorry. And then at Thursday, let me tell you a little bit. It was my plan to make so much footage of Prague and our adventures there. I really want to share my crafty adventures there. There were not much crafty adventures, but also I want to share some footage of the beautiful city. But it didn't really happen. It was such a busy, intensive week, and we were together with all the people all the time. And I realized I didn't film hardly anything yet for my Instagram or YouTube. And then I thought, oh, I should do it. And then I thought, oh, shoot. I don't love the word shoot. I think it's really annoying when you should do something. And then I thought, do I want to do it? And then I realized, no, I don't feel that it's not hard jumping to film right now. And for me, it was interesting because when I'm at home, I really love filming and photographing my crafty adventures and my walks through the woods, but I'm always alone when I do that. And now I was among the other people, and I wasn't comfortable. No, it was not that I was not comfortable. I was just with the people. I was connected, and apparently when I'm connected, it is hard to film. And every time I go to a real life knitting event, I feel the same. I always, it is always my plan to share some of the footage, but I never love the filming part right then, because I just want to connect, and I can't connect through a phone. I film everything with my phone. And also, I don't want to share. I chose to do not share my family and friends on my socials because it's private. And every now and then, I really am proud of my family and friends. So every now and then there's a little sneak peek, because I forgot, but they are mine. And of course, I want to show them to the whole world, but I think it's better to do not. So it's about crafting, my YouTube and Instagram. So it was also difficult because I have a lot of pictures and videos, but they are all with people. So I decided, okay, then it's okay it's okay. I have a little bit footage, a little bit, mainly in portrait, mainly filmed by my husband, and I will put it on the end of the video, I guess, somewhere. I will share it somewhere, but it's quite less. But I'm sorry that I can't show you the beautiful city of Prague. I really, if you can, visit Prague. If you can do it in the autumn, do it in the autumn. It was lovely. It was such a beautiful city. So we really enjoyed that. But on Thursday, we went out of town for a hike. And we were walking on the hill. And before we got into the forest, in the nature, we have to cross a little village. I guess it was a village. And there were all the tiny houses at the hill, and they were all different and all colored, and that was really hard jumping to me. Where I live in the Netherlands, the houses are all boring and straight and grey, maybe a little bit red, maybe a little bit brown, but boring. Very functional, very efficient, but not nice. So not creative. So every time when I am somewhere, there are parts in the Netherlands where it is more creative, but not where I live. I was really charmed by all the color combinations. There were warm pinks with browns and yellow and red and even blue and beige, all the lovely color combinations. And I thought, I want to make something in these color combinations. And so I started to take pictures, not beautiful pictures, just quick snapshots of the colors. And the day after, I went to the yarn shop again. It was on Friday with my family, and my parents, they arrived in Prague too. And my parents, they gave me a birthday present to pick something in the yarn shop, and my sister too. So I could pick some yarn, and then I decided I want to make a blanket in the colors of Prague. I was doubting about a sweater. It would also be lovely, but then I thought a sweater is only for me. A blanket is for all my family, and we were all together. So we don't really need a blanket, but I love making blankets every now and then. And I mainly made scrappy blankets. I don't know, maybe in the beginning of my crochet career, but buying special yarns for blankets, it's not something I do quite often. So we arrived at the yarn shop, and apparently the birthday of the yarn shop was celebrated, because the fourth birthday, I guess, it was so busy, and they were all having fun and drinking and eating together, and it's not a big shop, so it was quite overwhelming. And I wanted to pick colors. It was my only chance to go to the shop. So I picked all the colors, and I really, my husband and my father, they filmed me when I was doing it. I didn't realize, but when I was looking through the videos, I felt a bit ashamed, and I thought, I am really an addict. I was in the yarn shop, and you can see my eyes, and I wasn't able to talk anymore. Only thing I was doing was searching colors and holding it together and picking this and picking that, and can you pick that for me? And I was going crazy. But I have a big bag filled with the most beautiful Prague colors, colored yarns, and I will make a blanket of it. Let me show you. It is next to me. I already picked it out the bag for my Dutch episode, and this one is on top, and this will not be part of the blanket. I bought one skein of black pergint. I am knitting my husband's cardigan right now with pergint from Sandnes, and I really love the yarn, and I really need a black headband. I always wear headbands, and I think my two favorites are a little bit attached by the hairspray, unfortunately, and I really need a new one, and I wanted a black one. I want a black one because I always wear black, now I have to say it good, not panties, because that's underwear in English. Maillot, I call it a maillot. Leggings? No, not leggings. Tights it is. I always wear black tights and quite often a black skirt or a black dress or brown, and I really want to have it black. I really want my headbands in dark colors, because every time I make a light one, it isn't feeling good. I need dark ones right here. So I will cast on this one quite soon. It will be a quick knit, and I need it in my life. I really need it. I also bought 2 balls, I don't know where the other one is, of Sandnes Sunday. This is a really beautiful color. It's a bit of a brownie green. I don't know if you can see it on camera quite good, but I bought it last year and knit a sweater of it for my eldest daughter, a really lovely color, and I had 4 skeins left, and by adding 2 I have enough to make a cardigan for myself, and I can really, maybe a stria cardigan or whatever, with the fingering merino weight yarn. I can wear it in summer too. The more rustic yarns I don't like to wear in summer when it's warm, but merino I really love to wear, and I was really charmed by this knitting with this yarn and the feeling. So I can make a lightweight cardigan if I want to. I do want to. I don't know which one. So that was really nice. And then when I picked those two ones, that's really, when I picked those two, I focused on my blanket. And let me, it's standing next to me. Ta-da! I will put it on my desk when my episode is finished. I will put it on my desk and I will film a little bit and add it at the end of the episode, so you can see all the colors and all the lovely yarns. But I will show you. I have 3 different yarns. They are all fingering weight, and they are all, look at this color combination. This is a beautiful house already. There were so many beautiful houses. I picked Sandnes Sunday, the merino fingering weight yarn. I also picked Sandnes Tin Pergint. I didn't know there was also a thin version of Pergint, but I really love knitting with the DK weight. So I think the fingering weight will also be good. And I also picked a few Arreta from Filcolana. This is the sock yarn, also merino weights, but with some nylon. And the reason I chose 3 different yarns is because of the colors. I had all the pictures from all the lovely houses, and we checked the pictures, and we look, all the houses. I want to make a granny square blanket. I'm a bit distracted by all the beauties. I even picked a blue one because I really saw a lovely, maybe it was more this one, I don't know. Yeah, this color combination. I saw a little house, it was a little bit of this. My plan is to make 3 colored granny squares with 3 colors, a little bit the same as my Ariana, with a few rounds in the middle of one color, and then one color of the second color and one round of the second color and one round of the third color. And all the granny square blankets I made are with the same size granny squares. I think I prefer that, but for this one I will do something else. And I'm not really oh, look at this, it's so beautiful, and this is all, even a little bit of it. Oh, I'm a happy person. I suddenly remembered that I wouldn't buy any yarn in 2023. And this is only a small part of what I bought. Maybe I should try it again in 2024. I must feel ashamed. I'm really a yarn hoarder. I'm really an addict. I have a problem, I guess. A very nice problem. A very beautiful problem. My plan is to make a granny square blanket with different size granny squares, and I was thinking of, and I hope I say it correctly, of the fireside blanket. There's also a pattern by Wool Thread Paint. I am not quite sure if I say it correct. With the lovely embroidery on the... I don't want embroidery on this blanket, but I really love that. But also with a lot of different the granny square sizes. My knitting and crochet, my yarn budget is gone. Do you have a budget for your yarn, for your crafty things, for your knitting and crochet, for the yarn and for the tools and the books and the patterns? I don't really have a budget. I do have a personal budget, but I hardly buy any clothes. I always spend all on yarn and things. And of course, this was, for a big part, it was my birthday present, but my birthday budget was also gone. So I added some extra. So a free pattern is okay, but when I really prefer a paid pattern, I will buy it. It's not so dramatic, but when you are an addict, you have to protect yourself, or I don't know who you need to protect, but yeah, okay. So I'm thinking of the fireside blanket. I think it's fun to make, and also the different sizes of squares reminds me of the different sizes of the houses. When I make all the same squares, it will be as it is in the Netherlands, maybe a little bit boring. Now, I think I prefer the look, but because of the different sizes, I think different size blankets would be a good match. But we shall see. And I really want to make my morning crochet work of it. I am really a big fan of starting my day with a heart jumping moment. And in Dutch, I always call it my heerlijk handwerk half uurtje. And in English, it sounds less cozy. It sounds as lovely 30 minutes craft work, I think. But every time I always eat my breakfast later than the rest of my family. So when they are having their breakfast, I am doing heart jumping crochet things or knitting things. And I always have a special project for that moment of the day, because I really love to start my day with something heart jumping. Before I did that, I always have that kind of thought that I have to earn my heart jumping moment, that I have to do something practical in the house or from my to-do list. But then I realized that was nonsense. Why should you be so hard on yourself? Just start your day with a heart jumping moment, and your battery is filled at the beginning of your day. So I do that, and it's really nice. But the last few weeks I have different works, not special works for the moment. And the power is really in the special moment, that you wake up in the morning and you think, oh, I don't want to go out of my bed. And then you think, oh, wait, but my heart jumping moment is near. My crochet or my knitting is waiting for me. And it's really important for me to save that little work for just that moment of the day, because when I work all day on that, it's feeling different. So then it's less hard jumping. So I love to fool myself, I guess. So I will start this blanket quite soon in the early morning, and every time, especially in these dark times of the year when it's dark when you wake up, I open my eyes and I will think of the Prague blanket I will make. So I'm looking forward to that. So I will pass it on quite soon. Okay, as I said, I will show you all the lovely colors and all the lovely yarns at the end of the episode. Stay there. Okay. That was only. I have one other thing that has nothing to do with yarn or crafting at all, but with baking. A few months ago, I decided I'm not really a kitchen princess. I don't like the process of cooking or baking. I really love self-made things in the kitchen. When I really prefer self-made pies and good food. I really enjoy that process, but not the process of making it. You can't do everything, I guess. But a few months ago, I decided to bake my own cookies weekly. I thought when I make a weekly cookie baking routine, the koektrommel, how do you say it? Is that also called a bin? Cookie bin? No. We have a cookie tin. We have a round thing. I have a Holly Hobby thing with Sarah Kay, a round thing where you can put your cookies in. And I thought when I will bake cookies every Wednesday, my family will be happy. They have cookies. And of course, there's still butter and sugar in it because I am a healthy person, but I also love the sugar and the butter. So I don't want to keep it away. I know there are very healthy alternatives, but it was okay to do it this way. But I really love the idea that there are only 4 ingredients and I really know how, and I made it myself. I put some love in it and it was really lovely and wonderful, but a little bit too lovely for me because how do you say the grammar? I did eat all the cookies all the time. I couldn't eat one. No, I picked all the cookies. So this was a little bit too much love because I thought that's not healthy to you. So I quit that routine and my family regretted it because they all love the cookies. But now I will try again and maybe I will put some more discipline and willpower to only eat 1 cookie a day. But in Prague, it was very touristic. It was a tourist shop, but it was so lovely. I found this. Do you say a stamp? A cookie stamp. You can put it on your cookies and then the lovely flowered shape will be in it. Although I'm not quite sure how good it will show up, but there were some examples and those were pretty good, but you never know. Maybe I'm just a tourist fooled by the shop, but I really love the look of this. So it was really nice. So I will make some cookies and I will put a flower press on it and I will try to eat only 1 a day. So that was another souvenir. Okay, I think that was all I wanted to tell. And I'm quite late Monday afternoon and I will have a little bit of a quiet week, I guess. Last week was so much fun, but also quite exhausting. And I'm really looking forward to some quiet time knitting on the couch and try to finish the cardigan of my husband. It's also something that asks for a little bit self-discipline because I think it's quite boring, the cardigan. It will be beautiful, but it's boring to knit. But I am not allowed to cast on, maybe the headband, but I'm not allowed to cast on something else for myself before that cardigan is finished. So I will work on that and I will enjoy some quiet time and recharge my battery. But I am tired, but also very satisfied. So that's not a negative thing. It was really a lovely adventure in Prague and I really enjoyed it. And now it's time to go back to normal. Okay, that was it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you next Monday. Bye bye.